Hi, it's Nikki and welcome back to Live a Little, your cozy corner of the internet where we discuss all of the in-betweens of life, the messy, honest and unfiltered, where you don't always have that person to talk to about them, but here we do it all judgment-free. Today I'm here with like a quadruple hyphenate, someone that I have wanted to speak to for so long. I'm joined by writer, model, broadcaster, activist, Munroe Bergdorf.
Hello.
Hello, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It is really cozy in here.
It is. There is something about, I don't know what it is, but sitting kind of on the floor that feels quite disarming.
Yeah. In heels.
You're in heels, which is
heels.
Just iconic, by the way. Like,
maybe I should take them off. I haven't had a pedicure, so maybe not.
No, I mean, you're very welcome to. Yeah, there's something so funny about, I think it brings you back to like being a child, right? So, you sit on the floor and you kind of have a conversation that way, or you go to a sleepover and it's, It's
giving where you go down to have a little lie down in primary school.
Yeah, that's so true. Or like in the nurse's office and she has those little beanbags on the floor.
It's giving that.
Yeah, I wanted...
in the best way.
Thank you. But you
giving
also,
that but make it fashion.
Thank you. Yeah. I'll take it from you. But also you do a podcast.
Yes.
And you're kind of recently into it. You said you're 9 episodes in.
9 episodes in. It's called Into It with Clara.
Yeah, which is amazing. You've got it with Clara. And you're also in this room.
Yes.
Which is so funny.
I came in and I was like, what have they done with my bedroom? It's like when you move out and your parents redecorate your bedroom, turn it into like something else. I was like, oh, it's cozier.
How dare you take over my home? That's literally how it feels. No, how have you been finding doing the podcast with Clara?
You know what? It's been great. Clara and I have been friends for nearly a decade.
That's so crazy. How did you two meet?
Well, you know what?
Just in the industry.
Well, I think we met. We didn't actually meet in the industry.
Oh, really?
We met at this bar/nightclub that used to be in Dalston called Junction House. This place is now somewhere called Rose of Elagabalus.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
It's amazing. You have to go.
Okay.
That's a tip. If you're in London and you love great margaritas.
That's my favourite cocktail.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
And it's like a speakeasy. So you go
Oh, I love
in.
stuff like that.
Oh, it's great. I'll send you this.
Please.
And you go in and it's just like this hidden gem. It's queer. It's amazing. Live music, DJs downstairs.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to have you on for such a long time because
thank you.
We've had very different life trajectories, but equally I feel very kind of connected to you in a lot of ways.
I think the same. Yeah, I think the same. Especially when so much focus is on a body.
Exactly.
I think it does something to your mind and the way that you see the world and connect with other people.
Yeah.
I've always, from what I've heard you speak about, I think I feel very similar in terms of transness, in terms of even down the line of race and it's all the same kind of thing, isn't it? Because it's it's how you move through the world.
It is.
And you don't think, oh, I'm feeling this way. You don't therapize yourself as you're going through the world.
Exactly that.
Most of the time. You just kind of feel away.
Yeah, it's so true.
I think that feeling of being seen before you're seen.
Oh, you've hit the nail on the head. And I think it's that kind of being othered.
Yeah.
And I think both of us have had that experience where we've been so judged on what's here from the get. It really is judging a book by its cover.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of our lives, and also then having to navigate trying to love ourselves while the world is telling us the opposite. And I think a lot of who I am as a person and who we are as people comes from childhood and what you were like when you were younger or what you've been through. And so one of my favorite things to just ask people, whether it's on the podcast or when I meet them, is just, what was your experience like growing up? What were you like?
Ooh, well, when I was in primary school, I was a lot happier than when I was in secondary school, obviously,
me
because
too.
everybody was. And I always think that that's who I am at my core, is who I was in primary school. Just very loud. I was quite a loud child at moments when I felt my most comfortable, and I think that that's still true. But then also I have my majorly reserved moments. I'm very much an observer.
Me too.
Which I've become more of that, especially during my teens. I felt quite on the outside, so I'm very hyper aware.
Oh, you're literally speaking as if you're me.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I I've always loved music. I loved to dance when I was a kid. I used to get out those PE mats in the
Oh my God,
hall
I love it.
and put on a show for everyone.
You were just like, sit down.
Yeah.
I'm about to perform.
Yeah. I used to get out, had this Wickfield cassette, you know,
Oh
like
my gosh,
she
yes.
sings Saturday Night.
Yeah.
And it was her album. I was obsessed with this woman.
Oh, that's so fun.
And I was obsessed with Wickfield. I was obsessed with Gina G, Spice Girls. The
Of
signs were
course.
there.
Yeah.
And like Rhythm of the Night. I used to play Rhythm of the Night over
my
and over and over
gosh.
again and just perform. Because both my parents worked in London.
Oh, wow.
So I went to this kids club. And I think that's where I started really expressing myself.
That's amazing.
So I was a very expressive kid. And then as soon as I got into like my teens, I kind of went into myself.
Yes.
Yeah. I tried to get back to that child as much as possible.
Yeah.
And unlearn the teen stuff.
That's exactly it. I resonate with that so much, where I was honestly really similar. I was such an chatty, outgoing child in every club you could think of, in a boys' football team. Like I was just in Girl Scouts, street dancing, like doing head spins. Know who I thought I was?
Head spins?
Yeah,
Not the head spins.
Not the head spin. Not done a head spin since I was like 7 years old now. It is so true that there is something that happens as soon as you become aware of yourself. It's that blissful kind of, not ignorance, but naivety when you're younger of everything is just outward. You're not so introspective. You're not so inward. You're not so focused on yourself.
Yeah.
Everything is exciting and new.
Yeah.
And who you are is just who you are.
For sure.
And then you become aware of some things being right or wrong by how you're being perceived or how you're being treated.
For sure.
And that is such a difficult adjustment when suddenly you're like, oh, people that won't just understand me or get me or like me or accept me.
For sure. I think so much of mine was attached to my gender identity.
Of course.
I didn't think of myself as a gender identity until I hit puberty, and then I started developing in a way that was read by other people in a certain way. I remember being at the seaside one day and I wore this oversized t-shirt that my parents had put me in to just cover me up from the sun, and it felt like a dress and it read like a dress as well, because I had this like bucket hat on so people could only see like that much in my face, and I was covered. And because I've always been very feminine, everyone that wasn't my family thought I was a girl.
Wow.
And I remember this mom told her son to get out the way to like let the little girl through, and I didn't correct anything, and I loved it. And I think that was the first time that I realized that I was trans, and it only just came to my mind the other day. It's so funny that we're bringing this up.
What an amazing
So like I've always thought of myself as an energy rather than like a body. And as soon as I started being read as a body and I was aware, oh, people see me in this way, and then there was like an incongruence to that, that's when it all started going south. And then obviously growing leg hair, like face hair, like all of that kind of stuff just like sent me into panic mode. So but ever since it's just kind of felt like a process of getting back to that energy and not allowing myself to be too in my head about my body, and a gradual process of getting back into my body, which has been a real joy. And that's where we were talking about therapy before we started.
We were already having a real chat. We were like, oh, we should probably press record.
And like, I am not a talking therapy person.
No, neither.
I'm very much like, get me back into my body.
Me too.
Because for so long I was just numb and disassociative.
It does become then dissociating is the way you do that, because you think, okay, if I can kind of lift myself out of this and kind of just function, then that gives me a little bit of space from it.
It's the numbness that will get you eventually, because it starts as a coping mechanism.
Exactly
and at the beginning it feels good. You're like, oh my God, I found a way to control this. I found a way to absolve myself of the pain of being in this body. So you silo it and you end up kind of siloing yourself from everything good as well. So it's a process of unlearning a coping mechanism which has really gotten you through some of the hardest and most painful situations and finding a new way to cope. But there is always a new way. It's just like finding it. And like for some people, Western medicine is amazing. You know, I take SSRIs. They are amazing. I should not be unmedicated. And there's no shame in that as well.
Not at all,
For the longest time, I had so much shame. I took antidepressants for 18 years.
Wow.
And then I came off for 2 years, and they were the longest 2 years of my life.
And I hear coming off them is really awful.
It took a good year to come off of them. And then I had just a year of misery. And I was like, I can't, my brain is just not set up for this. That's been a readjusting period, but it's the right one for me. Also in that time, I realized that I'm not insane or an alien. I'm actually just autistic.
and that's a great thing to know.
With a little dose of ADHD
a little
too.
Sprinkle.
Yeah. But it's good because I feel like the ADHD counters and like balances the autism sometimes. Not always. Some days you'll just get one of them and you're just like, okay, well, I'm dealing with this right now. But then some days it feels genuinely like I get through the autism because of the ADHD, and the autism sometimes gives me the focus that I need when I'm unable to focus on anything sometimes.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I would love to know, I think, because, you know, when your brain is literally developing growing up, especially in the era of school, I've internalized so many things that I went through at school or how I felt, and that kind of being othered, or even, you know, I've heard you talk about what it is like when you walk down the street and you feel stared at, or you feel othered, or you feel like you're kind of subhuman, which I've also had. I'll, you know, even still now sometimes avoid especially kind of crowded areas because it kind of makes me go back into myself and makes me feel like I'm, you know, 14 again and in school, or just kind of going through a self-rejection. Is there anything that you feel like you're still trying to work through that you kind of internalized from everything you've been through with transitioning and growing up and not feeling like you fit the box that people are trying to put you in?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I try to push myself as much as possible. I mean, it's not very economical to not get the tube, but I try not to get the tube as much as I try to get the tube.
You're trapped.
I really hate it, just mainly because it feels like everyone just stares at everyone. And I've got so much trauma from when I began my transition and I would get filmed on public transport. People would literally get out their phones and film me with their phones at the beginning of my transition. I would get guys following me home because they'd realized that I was trans and like followed me from the platform to my house. It was a very quick switch from being seen as a monster at the beginning of my transition to then being wholly sexualized and then followed home. I won't go too much into it because it's really heavy. I am now very wary about what people are like.
Of course.
And obviously just because it isn't happening to me in terms of my awareness.
For me, a big thing is I get stared at a lot by children who've either not been educated or, you know,
such a trans experience as well.
Like literally haven't had the
Mummy, is that a boy or a girl?
Oh my gosh, and the whispering, like, or isn't it crazy some of the things that they will teach you about at school? But then the most basic things like treating everyone as a human is just not something that's up on the list to teach children from an early age, or even in terms of like toys, or, you know, it's something that is so normal. It's just humanity.
Well, we kind of teach kids to think in a very binary sense, and I don't actually think at their core kids are like that.
Not at all.
I think that kids are very accepting things. But like kids are just very accepting, but we kind of from a very early age with school like teach this kind of way of seeing the world that is not within the gray and not you know, within the spectrum of reality. It's like this or that, boy or girl,
pink or blue.
It's like, and that's not the way that the world is. And I think if we teach kids to just embrace everything as it is and not question things in that way, to question everything, but not those kind of things, and like
or judge in a way that it doesn't fit something that they think is right.
And just I think just teaching empathy, really, isn't it? We need to teach empathy.
Empathy truly is, I think, one of the most important emotions and kind of needs in the world as humans. You know, we may all have different thoughts or beliefs or experiences, but if you lead with empathy, like, that is what makes the world keep spinning, you know?
Especially right now, we've got such a crisis of it. It's not going to end well, because you know, empathy needs to be extended to everything. It needs to be extended to people, the planet. You know, the world isn't dying, like, we are literally killing it and killing ourselves.
And everything's become so extreme and so divisive. With the work that we both do, it's, you know, you're so multifaceted in so many different ways, but also a big part of what we do is being one of the voices for change for our communities. For you, obviously, it's incredible trans activism, but also many other things. How do you see that balance of feeling like you are the mouthpiece and are the representative of such necessary issues for your community, but equally disconnecting and also not feeling like you need to speak on every single thing, because that's incredibly taxing? And with everything going on in the world, it will be hard to sleep at night if, you know, you've had the weight of the world on your shoulders. How do you speak about things but also try your best to disconnect? What have you learned through this process? Because you've been one of the, you know, very few people to break through into the mainstream and speak about things on such a public level, which is just incredible. But that doesn't come with it's no easy feat.
It's really difficult. I started advocating for the trans community 10 years ago.
It's insane.
In that 10 years, in that decade, things have got slowly, progressively worse. I used to be of the mindset that if I spoke enough, people would hear and people would care and things would change. And unfortunately, I have now reached the conclusion that people did hear and a lot of people don't care. And things aren't going to change on saying the same things over and over again. We are now at the point as a community where we are being spoken of as if we're not human. And we're not alone in that. You know, disabled people, migrants, people seeking asylum, even like people like that are cisgender that don't conform to stereotypical gender norms are spoken of as subhuman. There's this culture that we are all expected to adhere to at the moment, which is just hyper normalization. Like, we all need to toe the line and be what we are told to be and plug into this future that is just happening regardless of whether we want it or not. And a lot of that is really seen within the conversation around AI. And like, this is happening, you have to get on board. It's like, no, we don't. And that goes for every single thing that we are presented with. There is always another way. And I now feel like it's my responsibility, after a decade of advocating for the trans community, to show that other way. And we, for so long as trans people, have only really been in the room when we have to speak about our transness. And I now want to lead the way, if I can, as, you know, one of the very few trans people in this country that has a platform to do things that aren't centered around being trans. Obviously, I will always advocate for my community. I will always speak up when I need to, if I want to. But I feel like it's really important to show that we are functioning members of society who have interests, who have dreams and wants and wishes, and we can do whatever we want to do. And I've got the means to be able to put those dreams and wants and wishes into fruition and like make them happen. So that's kind of what we're doing with the podcast. You know, yes, we talk about our identity sometimes. Clara talks about being a dark-skinned Black woman. I speak about being a trans woman of color, and that's important, but it's not everything.
It's just one of your parts, right?
And I want young trans people to look at me or look at anybody else in the industry, whether or not it's like Belle Priestley, who knows your friend as well, or like the people that are in Heartstopper, or like if you are a young trans or queer person, I want you to look to other people and be able to see what they're doing, whether it's acting or singing or whatever, and focus on what you want for your life. No, I don't want to spend the rest of my life talking about trans issues because it's exhausting.
It's so exhausting.
And I'll always be on the front line. I'll always be marching.
Of course.
But like, that is not the wholeness of me as a human being.
Yeah.
And I want to do more with my life than spend it speaking about a society that doesn't accept me.
I resonate.
Monologue over.
Yeah, that was beautiful, and I resonate with that so deeply because I think for so long, it's even like the jobs that you're presented with are often the forefront of it is for you to speak about the issue.
It's like, here's the ask, here's the fee, but it's about the thing that you speak about all the time, and you aren't be able to express the fullness of your humanity, and it is really exhausting.
It's so interesting, isn't it? It's like, I always say, my therapist kind of drew out circles, and even with my condition, it's like sometimes I feel like my condition is here and it's the only thing that I'm defined by. It's like you have to be defined by the hardest things that have ever happened to you, but that's not true. It's only one of the parts, and it's made you who you are, but it's not who you are. And she kind of drew out bubbles, because I'm a real, like, I don't like talking therapy either. I need to feel like I'm doing something, actually doing something. And she drew out bubbles, and she was like, what are the other things you enjoy? What are the other things that make you who you are? And we kind of put different things in each bubble. And I think that's so true for us as people, especially when we have felt othered for so much of our lives, or put into a box of like, all we can do is advocate for the thing that we are presenting as. And I think also it feels like advocacy and activism can only come from doing a speech or being on the front line or talking at Parliament. And though that's also true, advocacy also is literally you existing and you being in those spaces that notoriously have not had people like you in them.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's even like this year I went to the Oscars, and it was like, well, they've never really had...
Oh, yes. Yeah. I saw the outfit. Can I also say, before I forget, because my brain is a sieve.
Same.
You in that Mattia Facal look.
Oh, thanks.
You killed that. They're my favorite designers. They actually invited me to that show and I couldn't go.
No, you should so try and come
next season. Let's go.
I would love that.
Yeah.
That's where it's so special, is to have, there are enigmas in these industries that have notoriously not felt like they are welcoming for people like us or want us in them.
Yeah.
Like Mattia Facal, Hannah and Stephen, the creators and the designers behind it. I remember just being so anxious when I did that, because I was like, well, I'm not a model. I've never done this before. I'm also so in my head. So, this is not me. Modeling is walking down a runway. The whole point is to be looked at when you walk down. And it's the opposite of what I have wanted to do in my life. Though I have a very public facing job, I'm speaking to most of the time a phone, an object, and then I post it. I'm speaking to an inanimate thing that I have control over. I'm sure you feel the same in a certain way.
You kind of feel a bit like picked apart, like you're really on full...
really on full display when you do something like that.
It's like when someone tells you to pick up a pencil and you're like, everyone can pick up a pencil, but like as soon as someone tells you to, you make it really weird.
It's even with some of my friends that are actors or actresses, they're like, wait, how do I even open a door? Like, I've forgotten how to open... Like, it's like the most normal thing.
Just do that for the 5th time.
Literally, I've forgotten how to function. And so it was the most nerve-wracking thing, because I was like, this kind of is everything that I don't want, is people staring at me on purpose, when I'm trying to hide from that. And that's what I've internalized in my life. And I remember them saying to me, we haven't chosen you because you can be a model, we've chosen you for you. And I think that's what felt so special, is they just wanted me because of me.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first times I said this, and like I did the whole kind of spiel, long caption, when I did that post, and I said it's the first time I've always loved fashion, because, and I'm sure you resonate, because it's like, it's dress up, and it's almost an armor in a way, what you wear, and it's a bit of control and reclamation, and it allows you to express yourself. So I've always loved that industry, but I've never felt wholly accepted or embraced back.
Like it becomes part of you. There was something very magical that happened for you on that runway. It was
I blacked out. It was like I wasn't myself.
It was,
you know?
you just was so elegant, and it was like it become part of you.
Yeah.
I think it's really special when you find a designer that does that. And it happens very rarely. But you can see it with how Mattia Foucault bond with their muses.
So true.
And I feel like that with, Robert Wunn, who I work with a lot.
Love Robert Wunn.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah. He's a very similar kind of designer in how he works with talent. And, there's a very archetypal Robert Wunn girl.
Yes.
Or boy.
Yes.
And also Atsuko Kudo latex. Me in a latex gown.
Oh my God, you look so good in latex.
Thank you.
Body tea.
Wow.
No, truly.
It better be.
Yeah, it is. It is, girl.
Yeah, I feel amazing in her work. And it's like she brings me out.
Yeah.
And I don't always have the ability to bring me out on my own. So that's what fashion is amazing at doing.
Yeah. And
when it's done right.
Oh, that was exactly it. I remember years and years and years ago, I've spoken about this before, but Katie Piper is a really good friend of mine. And when I interviewed Katie for the first time, I was about 13. And we spoke about, the more you see difference, which isn't even difference, it's just other human beings, the more normalized it becomes, the more it's just like, oh yeah, that's just another human that just happens to have like a different shaped eye, or, it's just like anyone else. You are just another human, just wanting to exist and feel human and feel accepted. But if you don't feel like you see yourself in things, it's so hard to believe that that's possible. And that's why it's so true with what you're saying with trying to not just be the thing that you have been defined by, or that you are a activist for, is so important. It's like maybe there's someone who is transgender or is struggling with their identity and feels like they're not in the right body, or a body that they want or feel truly they identify with, but they want to be a singer, or they want to be a DJ, or they want to be a lawyer. If you've not seen someone do it, that's not to say it's not possible. Of course it is. We're examples of that. But it does make you feel like, wow, someone else has done it, so it's shown me that is a possibility, For
sure. I think just seeing ambition and drive and not allowing people to get in the way of that, just being very Madonna about it. Like even, Madonna was very much my North Star when I was a kid, because she doesn't have the biggest diva voice, she is very much an enigma, but also like just a force.
Totally.
And she was just like, I'm going to be a star. And it's not necessarily that I wanted to be a star. I wanted that drive and ambition of, I'm not going to let anyone get in the way of me achieving what I wanted.
As you should.
I wanted to be in fashion. I wanted to be on the runway. I wanted to be on the cover of Vogue. And I wanted my things.
Exactly.
And I got them.
And you deserve them.
Yeah. And I think, if anybody else wants their things and everybody else wants their dreams, go out and get it.
Yeah.
I love women like Madonna. I love women like Jerry Halliwell. We speak about Jerry Halliwell at length in our documentary. Will an episode go by? Will a podcast episode go by where I don't speak about Jerry Halliwell?
Oh my God.
Huh?
You need to have her on at some point.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
Yes. I just think that Jerry Halliwell is like Madonna insofar as not the most vocally talented or even the best dancer. Amazing dancer.
To preface.
But like the talent is in the star power and in the energy and in the impact. And like they've got something to say. They want to see the world change in whatever way. They want to make people feel good. And like, the further along that I've got in this industry, I've realized how important that is, because there's so many people that are just bad vibes. And I don't want to be one of those people. I want to make people feel good. And I want people to look at me and think I can do whatever I want. And that's one of the biggest gifts that I've encountered over the years, is like younger trans people coming up through the industry and being like, you were the first trans person I saw on television. You gave me the confidence to go and do whatever I wanted to do. I don't have a Netflix show. But like, I'm glad that the younger kids do. I don't really have a recording contract, but I'm glad that other kids do. And they looked to me when they were a kid and they saw me on TV and they were like, okay, well, she's got the nerve to go out for what she wants, and I can go and do this. And then look at them inspiring the generation after them.
It's like you laid the brick and it's like then you allow.
Well, I put another brick on top of the bricks that had been laid before me.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. And the more, bricks there are, the more people that are able to kind of, be in this world, that builds more of a foundation. Then
we wouldn't be here without the bricks.
Yeah, 1000%. Who's been a big inspiration for you when you were on this journey?
In terms of like trans women before me?
Yeah.
Oh God, so many. Octavia Saint Laurent in Paris is Burning, the amazing documentary. Venus Extravaganza also from Paris is Burning documentary. Caroline Cossey, who was a transgender woman who was a Bond girl, and then she was torn apart in the press and on TV shows. I feel a real affinity with her, just in terms of how the press has treated both of us. We won't talk about the press. Nadia Amada, who won Big Brother. She's amazing. I had her as guest of honor at my birthday 2 years ago. I was like, I know we don't know each other, but will you come to my birthday?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And she was like, yes. So I got her to stand up at the table, and I did a little speech for her on my birthday, and everyone gave her a toast because like she was the first trans woman that I saw. Not on television, because that was probably a trans woman, Jerry Springer, but it was a trans woman being celebrated for who she is and loved for who she is. And I was like, so people do have that good side to them where they can embrace.
They can meet them with kindness.
Yes, and like see a trans person as human. Amanda Lepore, if you don't know who Amanda Lepore is.
Amanda Lepore's amazing.
Oh, Amanda Lepore. And she, on the other side of, in terms of like speaking about like anti-normalization, Amanda Lepore is known for being like a hyper real kind of like super vixen doll aesthetic.
Like a dolly.
Aesthetics is all about like how you feel and bringing that to the surface, and beauty can be whatever you want it to be. And that's such a beautiful way of like seeing the world, because then you end up seeing the beauty in everything and everyone.
Yeah, I completely agree. Beauty should be boundless, Was there, because obviously femininity is such a journey, was there a moment in particular that you remember on your journey of transitioning and becoming who you've always wanted to be and knew you were, where you truly felt in touch with that feminine side of you?
I've always felt in touch with the feminine side, if I'm honest. I think it's about really regaining an affinity with the masculine side, or like the masculinity within me, because we've all got femininity and masculinity within us. But I've always felt very much like home within the femininity and alien from the masculinity. And feeling like I can't possibly embrace anything masculine or any feelings that are masculine within me, because I'm then confused for starters, and then secondly dysphoric, and then thirdly, once I began my transition, I felt like I was not not supposed to, because then I wasn't really trans. And I was constantly being told by all of these therapists that I needed to be feminine, need to dress feminine, need to act feminine, need to be perceived as feminine. So if I felt or behaved in any way that was masculine, it felt like I was doing myself a disservice, and also like I was about to be found out for not being who I knew I was. So I think really for me, it hasn't been about finding the feminine. It's been about renegotiating my relationship with the masculine and finding that balance within me that feels whole and not like it's one or the other. Because I think that's where a lot of cis people are running into problems too, with this feeling that, the feminine and the masculine are opposites and they don't exist with each other, and they're alien and different species, and they're not. Like, we all have that masculine and feminine side.
So true.
Once you find a way to feel home and whole within yourself, I think it's a really nice way of being.
Definitely.
Yeah.
No, you're so right. And that was so beautifully put, where actually the feminine side is what you always knew to be true. And it was trying to know that you can be a whole person by embracing both. That's so beautiful.
I think it's non-binary people that really taught me about that. I wouldn't say I'm non-binary. in terms of like active
Mm-hmm.
identity. But this sense of not having to live in
Yeah.
absolutes
Yeah.
of like this or that,
Yeah.
just can be myself. And
Yeah.
at one point in my transition, when I first began, I was scared to be in joggers.
Wow.
I mean, I still won't leave the house without a heel.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You're better than me. My feet like can't do
Oh, my
it.
feet are toe up.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
terrible. I don't have feeling in my toes sometimes.
They've been trained.
Yeah, well, abused. I don't know. I feel
Yeah.
like that it was just ridiculous. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was scared to, when I went to the doctor's office for like my second appointment at the beginning of my transition, I sat down and I was wearing joggers.
Mm.
And he was like, "So are you wearing women's clothes?" And I was like,
What?
"Yeah, these are like women's joggers. Like, what are you talking about?" But there was this sense that in order to get my healthcare, I had to be hyper feminine and believed all the time. And then when I came into the public eye, which was, God, I was 6 years into my transition,
Wow.
I then felt the spotlight on me. And I remember my manager at the time was like, "Every time you leave the house, you need to look like a superstar." And
Oh
I
my
was like, that was both
gosh.
helpful and harmful
Yeah.
because it
It's a
was
lot of
good.
pressure.
It was a lot of pressure. I get what he was trying to do, but at the same time, I was like, great.
Let me just get my heels out. Let me put like,
Aren't I
oh my
tired enough?
gosh.
Yeah, so it was a lot, like having to deal with the gender dysphoria
Yes.
in an industry that, before I came into the industry, there really wasn't that many trans people,
No.
if any, really,
Yeah.
in the position that I was
Yeah.
in, especially in the fashion industry. I was
Mm-hmm.
one of the first trans people to really work with fashion and beauty brands in that way.
Yeah.
I was the first trans person to work with L'Oreal, period.
Incredible.
So like, but it was very much like every single brand that I worked with, I was the first trans person that they
That's the
worked
thing is
with.
it's incredible, but it's also disheartening that you were the first, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't the first that tried.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
the first that
there's
got
yeah,
through, broke
yeah.
the
So I
boundary.
really didn't take it lightly. I
Yeah.
didn't like be like I'm better than everyone else
Not at
because
all.
I got in the door. Like people have been trying to get in these doors for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just happened to break my way in.
Yeah.
And I just told myself that like when I'm sitting in front of the mirror naked, just got out of the shower, I put in all my lotion, how do I feel? And I can feel that femininity in that moment.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be once I put on some perfume,
No.
once I put on, lotion. I think I need I need lotion to be. Otherwise, I'm just
She's got dry skin.
I'm just a crusty bug. But I don't know. Like I don't think it's about clothing. I don't think it's about makeup.
It's not a puzzle
It's
that
an
once you put it together,
energy.
then you feel feminine.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
And the masculinity is there too. And I think the best way to prove that is, a lot of it is hormonal. Because
Yeah.
once you start hormone replacement therapy, you feel closer to that femininity too, because a lot of it is estrogen and the masculinity, a lot of it is testosterone. And getting that balance right with hormone replacement therapy is amazing. But the funny thing is once I had like my lower surgery, I ended up having to take testosterone.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Because I wasn't producing any testosterone.
Oh my
And
gosh.
obviously cisgender women produce testosterone as well as estrogen. So I ended up having to take testosterone as well as
Wow.
estrogen to bring up my levels to a
Yeah.
natural point. So that's been a journey.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine you were
Yeah.
like, oh no, I
It
have
feels amazing
yeah.
though, because
Yeah.
like obviously testosterone allows us to have energy and mental clarity. And like that's why
you're in balance.
yeah, I'm in balance.
I wanted to ask you, I think that dating is an area that, especially when you don't fit the box of, male, female, what the linear way seems to be for dating, it can be incredibly difficult, especially when it can be one of the most superficial areas of life. And as someone who doesn't fit the box myself, and also it being an age of dating that is more superficial than ever in a way because of dating apps, and it's like what you see is here first. You don't really meet people in person in the way that you used to. That's a good thing and a bad thing. I know that you have a partner, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. I was like, just wanted to check that, but I can imagine that navigating that was difficult?
Not so much him. He's a dream.
Just the world of it.
I think I'm probably more difficult than he is. I just tend to tell the dolls, and I found myself in a mother role, which I embrace, or a big sister role. Don't accept the scraps. It's very much that Pearl quote, isn't it? I will not accept a life I don't deserve. And it's that. You don't allow anyone, whether or not they're in bed with you or your boss or your colleague, to treat you like dirt. And don't spend your life giving your energy to someone who isn't invested in your human rights or your well-being. And, it's very easy to give that advice. It's harder to take it.
It really is.
Even harder to implement it.
Yes.
Because until you are shown an example of a healthy love, you will keep going back to the unhealthy things because there is no bar or awareness of how high the ceiling should be.
No comparison level.
So, I've gone through so many abusive, harmful relationships. I'm not a perfect person. We all mess up within relationships. But I think the difference is learning from the previous relationship, not making the same mistakes, realizing when you're in a pattern too. Unfortunately, there's a lot of guys out there that see the vulnerability in trans women and also the extreme vulnerability of trans women early on in their transition who just want to be loved. Unfortunately, that isn't love. But when someone is convincing you and manipulating you that it is, it's a recipe for disaster. And I have been in that situation more times than I can count. But I'm happy not to be in it now.
And that's what you deserve.
I hope that girls can not necessarily look to my relationship because I keep my shit on the lock. But
of course, as you should. Yeah.
But for me, to say that it is possible.
That's exactly it.
And it is possible to be loved for who you are, as you are, without all of this.
That's exactly it.
We got the glam on today, but you're not in
when you're
glam
in bed,
at home. Watching Netflix, and putting your hair up. That's love.
No, you're so right. And I think it's often when you've internalized, levels where you don't like yourself, sometimes I think you think, okay, I guess maybe this is just it and I have to accept that. And you've said that so well, where you shouldn't accept what has been presented to you. You should always strive for better for yourself,
Always.
That's so beautiful.
And just be patient with yourself and your partner. But there are red lines. And unfortunately, so many of us overlook them when we think that there isn't better out there for us. And there's always better than being treated in a way that you don't deserve.
I completely agree. You have spoken a lot about gender dysphoria, but also on the latter, gender euphoria, as you girlies like to call it. I would love to know what gender euphoria means for you now, today.
Gender euphoria is just peace for me. It's not having to think about my identity or my gender. It's just being present, fully present, uncensored, unmasked, unfiltered, and being around people and environments that I feel connected to energetically, where I'm not thinking too much. I think for me, gender euphoria is an ability to be in my body and to get out of my head, stop spectating, start participating. And I try to take that feeling wherever I go. I watched an amazing video, I think it was 5 years into my transition, by a Reverend Valerie Spencer. I'm not Christian. I want to preface that this isn't trying to get you down the pipeline.
Recruiting.
And she does a speech where she talks about trans people who are afraid to go out in public. And I had agoraphobia at one point. And she talks about owning your square foot of earth, and every single square foot that you walk through, every single patch of ground that you walk on is yours. For that moment, that's your personal space. Take it one step at a time, but be present in that. And honestly, it really changed.
That's giving me goosebumps. That's so beautiful.
It really changed the trajectory of how I move through the world. I hope that whoever's watching this, if they need it, go and listen to some Reverend Valerie Spencer, because she's
she sounds
honestly just
amazing.
incredible. Yeah.
So true. And I think, we have one life, and what a shame it would be to spend your life not content with who you are, constantly striving for, being a different person, being a different version of yourself, but for other people. What a shame that would be.
Absolutely. And also to see yourself as separate and different to everyone else. I see humanity as, and this isn't just me, this is like many ancient thoughts. So see humanity as a mycelium. But when I say that, like mushrooms are just the top part.
Yeah.
All mushrooms in an area are connected under the ground to the size potentially of a football pitch. And I think that humans have that feeling of energy. We know when there's other people in the room. We know when there's other people in the building. We can feel it. And I see me as you. I see you as me. And if I'm harming you, I'm harming myself. And if I'm judging you, I'm really judging myself. So I try to move through the world as much like that as possible. I haven't always, and that's part of growth.
Yeah.
But having connected as much with myself spiritually as I can, and I feel much more of a connection with nature. I was raised in nature.
I think nature is one of the most healing things ever.
I think it's one of the biggest problems that we have is that so many people don't see ourselves or see themselves as part of nature.
Yeah.
They see humanity as completely separate, like nature is something for us to exploit or visit or sell off. Or own, and it's not. Like, it's there to keep us alive, and it's not going to if we continue in this way.
I couldn't agree more with that. So how do you stay human in your own eyes when the world keeps trying to turn you into a symbol or a threat or an icon? How do you stay grounded?
Margaritas and Soho.
Oh yeah.
It's simple things. It has to be the simple things, and I love a margarita.
Me too.
Spicy mango margarita.
Oh my god! See, I'm bad with spice. I'm half Indian, but I'm awful with spice.
Oh, Nikki.
I know.
Well, yeah. I think I think it's just the simple things. It's like having friends that are close, that know you, have known you for a long time, but also being willing to make new friends as well. I think making new friends is just as important as having old friends, because it keeps you growing. It changes the way that you see the world and yourself.
Friendships is also so important.
Yeah, for sure. So, margaritas and Soho, gay clubs, like being around queer energy, being around women, being around other people of color, expanding my world, understanding that I am
making your world as colorful as possible.
That I'm always changing, and letting go of the past as well. And how other people perceive me. I take it as a compliment, but it needs to kind of be just a compliment that exists within that time frame of 20 seconds. Because it can't be how I see my life or myself. Because if I'm to live that way, I'm both the worst person on earth and the best person on earth. And the most disgusting and hot person in the world. And like, whilst that can be kind of fun for like 2 seconds, if you walk through your life feeling like the most hot, disgusting,
by the hate
worst and best person, it fucks you up. So I just tend to just be like, thanks, or ooh.
Appreciate
and
it,
then leave
but I'm not going to define myself with it. You
need to kind of be a bit water off a duck's back sometimes. No,
I completely agree. It really goes back to that whole love and rage thing. If you define yourself by only the love or only the rage, to quote your documentary and your film, that is so true. And it's the people that know you in your most intimate circle. For me, that's like my family, my very, very close friends, where you appreciate what they say. But it's also the voice within your head that is the most important one to you, and making that voice in that space as kind as possible, and as nurturing as possible.
If my friend Reese tells me something, then, I feel like he's my
extension.
He's me outside of my body.
You'll take that in.
I mean, I listen to everyone.
But
thanks for the feedback. But listening to Reese is just
take
very
it into
much
consideration. So my final question, we have a couple quick fires, but my final quick question is, if I took away activist, model, writer, broadcaster, public figure, everything that you've done, and, you know, all the things that you represent, which are incredible. Who is Munroe when nobody needs anything from her? It could be so simple. Like, you love reality TV. Like, what is something?
Well, I mean, I do love reality
Me
TV.
too. My Hey You subscription.
Oh, I didn't play about my housewives.
Oh,
I love to do nothing.
me too.
I love it.
That's my pastime, honestly.
Yeah.
Is doing nothing.
I love a nap in the sun. So
Yeah.
maybe I'm a cat. But I don't know. I've got 4 animals. I've got 2 dogs and 2 cats. And my favorite thing to do is to nap with them.
Love that.
And to curl up with 4 animals on the sofa or in my bed, watch TV, get my friends over, get a takeaway.
That sounds like my perfect day.
Yeah, I feel like I love to just be present and do nothing.
And just be.
Yeah. You know that monologue in Euphoria where like Maddie just loved to do nothing?
Yeah.
That's me. And I actually think that there's a beauty in it. I get very confused when my friends are people that can't be still.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to be around people.
I'm not
they
like that.
have to be, they can't be by themselves. They
Yeah.
have to always be doing something.
Yeah.
So I think it shows that you struggle with your own company.
Definitely.
And you struggle in your own head.
It's true.
And I've worked so hard to be at peace with myself and at peace in the nothing that I recharge in that way. I try to set myself one small task a day.
Love
And
that.
if I don't have a lot of capacity, as long as I do that one thing a day for
That's the
myself,
win.
that's a win. But, you know, I'm a very ambitious person.
Yeah.
And I think historically I have been very hard on myself when I'm not hitting targets all the time. At one point, I had a 6-year plan for myself. And
those plans, just the anxiety that they can give you, though.
I know. And like I was hitting it for like 3 years and then I
Wow.
started not hitting it.
And
you can't do it.
it's like being on a treadmill.
Yeah. Like there's so many variables. Like I didn't realize that the government was going to come after the dolls.
Life changes so much, you know.
You never know. You can't be too hard on yourself. So I try to just be kind and present and passionate.
That's it. Yeah. I could not agree more. So finally, we finish off with just some quick fire questions. They're very short, kind of just whatever comes to your head.
Okay.
No, they're very chilled. They're nothing crazy.
Okay.
What's your most glamorous habit? Because you are a glamorous queen.
I'm always wearing heels.
Love.
Even the Uggs that I walk my dogs in have heels in them.
You're joking.
No, I've
never seen heel dogs.
Yeah, I got no, not heeled Uggs. Sorry, heeled Crocs.
Oh, I was like, heeled Uggs?
I've got heeled Crocs.
Stop it.
Yeah, they've got a little.
Oh my
tooch.
gosh, I love that. Iconic. What I love about heels, I've got awful posture, and they make my posture so good because they come
Really?
straight in your back. Yeah.
I did ballet as a child.
Oh, okay. So your posture's always good.
Well, I talk about it in my book. You can see what happened with that.
Yeah, read Munroe's book. There
Buy
is so
my
much
book.
Yeah, buy the book. What fashion era do you wish would come back?
Glamour of the 90s.
Yes, the 90s.
I want the Cindy Crawford 80s hair.
Yeah, the blowout.
I
the
think it's
bouncy
coming back
blowout.
because the Shards, it's got her daughter Kaya Gerber
yeah,
in it.
I love Kaya,
and
yeah.
like obviously she is like the spitting image of Cindy and she's got all of that 80s hair.
Gorge.
Bring it back.
I know. I want to watch the Shards. I've not watched it
Me
yet.
too.
Oh my god.
It's out.
Yeah, I think it's out now.
Oh, well, that's what I'm going to do
I
when
know,
I get home.
that's our next watch. What do you do when you need to completely switch off? Would that literally be just sitting in bed and...
It's turning on Hey You and watching
What's your favourite
rich
housewives?
women shout at each other. I have to say my favorite housewives is Salt Lake City.
So good. Receipts, timelines,
proof, everything. Slowly following by Potomac.
I've not watched Potomac. Oh my gosh.
Potomac. There's so much going on.
Okay.
Next season is going to be amazing.
I need to get started on it then.
Yeah, it takes a while.
There's so many seasons.
It's very different from all of the others.
Yeah.
It's not that glamorous, I won't say.
That's all right.
Some of the fashions.
Questionable.
Yeah.
I used to love New Jersey. That was like my...
You know what? I haven't watched New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey's really good.
Okay, I need to...
It's really good.
But I actually need to do some stuff.
Yeah,
so like
I
maybe
know.
not yet.
I like putting it on in the background because it's an easy listen.
Yeah.
You don't need to be like locked in.
I might save that for next crisis if we ever have one, because that's how I got into Housewives during COVID.
It's
so
easy,
I need
isn't
to
it?
save
It's just
something
easy. It's
for a crisis.
escapism. We all need those escapism, easy things. We always finish each episode with a little thought of the week. I normally say it when it's a solo, But because you're here today, I'm going to pass it over to you. What's one sentence you would give to somebody who feels that becoming their real self might cost them too much?
Losing yourself is a bigger price to pay, quite honestly. It might not feel like it right now, but self-abandonment will follow you around for the rest of your life. Not to scare you, but the closeness that you will feel and the calmness that you will feel, and then everything that will grow out of that foundation, out of that soil, out of that fertilized patch of land that you have watered and tended to. I felt like that at the beginning of my transition. I felt like I can't relearn how to be myself. I can't relearn it. It's just too much. It's too big. It's too scary. I can't take how other people are going to treat me. But you find a way. One of the most amazing parts of being human is how adaptable we are to our environments. And you'll be surprised how quickly things that you feel are too big or too disorienting and confusing become second nature. And there's other people always going through the same things that you are too. So the first step is finding those people. And the second step is taking that first step. And you can do it. It's a beautiful thing in realizing how much you can achieve with as little as you have. You know, it's, I don't know, I think it's about the small wins as much as it is the big things. Yeah. And lots of small wins turn into big changes.
No, exactly that. You are just amazing in every way. I feel like we could sit here for 5 hours.
I had a great time.
I'm not even joking. It's been an hour and a half.
Has it?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like, I could speak to you for hours and hours and hours. Too. I feel like
we always see each other so quickly.
I know. It's been
in the most funny places.
Really special to
Angel, thank you for
do this, and thank you for being so open and so candid. I know so many people will benefit from hearing this episode and find so much safety in it, especially people who are on this journey of feeling misunderstood or not feeling heard or seen. I think everything you've talked about is so needed right now more than ever. I think you've really showed that becoming yourself and becoming into yourself isn't one single decision or one brave moment. It's such a process, and we're all trying to navigate the most us we can be in a world that's telling us the opposite or showing us the opposite.
Definitely.
I just think you're amazing. Thank you.
I think you are too.
So much, and I'm so happy to have a friend in you and someone that I feel like every time I see you at an event, even if I've not known you that well, I'm like, Munroe's here. Okay. Everything's okay. And now we've had such like a beautiful heart to heart. I'm just going to now sit with you in the corner of any event and just know that we can
absolutely.
talk.
When did I last saw you at the Wuthering Heights premiere?
Oh my, that was it. Yeah. Oh, that was stressful.
That was stressful.
Really was stressful.
It was pissing it down.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It matched the kind of the vibe of the film, to be honest.
Funnily enough. Like
really
that's the only carpet that I really wouldn't we're starting again. Sorry.
I know.
We'll get into it.
Fine. This is what I mean.
Episode needs to stop, babe.
No, I'm the same. Oh my God. This is why having a podcast is like difficult, because I've got a mic in my hand and I will speak about anything. The last thing we do is I always finish an episode by saying, as always, remember to be kind to yourself and live a little. You're here, so I'd love to hand that over to you to just say down the camera, as always, remember to be kind to yourself and live a little.
Remember to be kind to yourself and live a lot.
Love it. Live a lot. You're so right. Thank you.
Thank you.